Welcome to Newsmaking Headlines on April 11th. It was indeed a significant day yesterday, with the red shirts massing at Democracy Monument to commemorate the first anniversary of the bloody crackdown against their anti-government rally on April 10th last year. Thankfully, yesterday's rally ended without any violence, though the Red leaders didn't miss the chance to hammer the government. All this, and let's not forget ex-PM Thaksin Shinawat's rather interesting phone-in, didn't fail to make front-page headlines. Thai Post main headline says, Thaksin tells followers to be patient. The time of change is near. Matichon main headline shouts, Pasit takes to red stage, exposing miraculous hand-foot that upholds the loved party and stampedes against the detested party. Pasit Sakdanarong, former Secretary to Constitution Court President Chat Cholawan, alleged someone sent a letter and made a phone call to Chat, urging him to help the Democrats escape from being sent into oblivion with a dissolution ruling. But according to Matichon, Red Shirt leader Jatuporn Prompan tacitly alleged that it is none other than Privy Council President Prem Tinsulanon whom Pasit referred to. Meanwhile, Komchatlook's headline states, Pasit mocks politics as a football match, saying referee is biased. Matichon also has some revelations on the Pheu Thai Party's PM candidate, something everyone has been scratching their heads about and wondering. The newspaper's headline puts it plainly, Thaksin picks Yingluck, party list number 1. The story quotes a Pheu Thai source as saying that Somchai Wongsawat and his wife Yawapa, who is Thaksin's sister, flew over to Dubai last week to discuss the party list candidates, and they agreed that Yingluck, Thaksin's youngest sister, is by far the most suitable candidate that could help shore up the party's popularity, since she directly represents Thaksin. Meanwhile, Thai Post quoted hardcore red shirt leader Kwanchai Praipana as saying that Ming Kwan Sang Suwan's future as a Pheu Thai PM candidate is indeed sealed because, get this, Thaksin no longer trusts outsiders after learning expensive lessons from Samak Suntaravet and Nevin Chitchop. Well, if this is the case and the Pheu Thai gets to form a government after the upcoming election, Thailand could have its very first female PM in Yingluck. Let's move to the border with ASTV Pujatkan newspaper, of course, making the Thai-Cambodian Joint Boundary Commission meeting in Indonesia its main headline, saying, Cornered opposite makes U-turn, announcing Indonesians not allowed in disputed areas. Well, we all know that PM Apicit Wechachiwa has begun to see eye to eye with our army on the issue. All this while, he was of the opinion that unarmed Indonesian diplomats could be allowed to monitor disputed border areas. Apicit said that Cambodia made it known during the JBC meeting that it wanted Indonesian observers to be stationed in the 4.6 square kilometer dispute zone, but he felt that's not possible because the area does belong to Thailand. Well, if you are one who expected the negotiations to go nowhere, you are correct, because in all surety, there's an unbridgeable ravine of differences between Thailand and Cambodia that will prevent any solutions from being found on the contentious border dispute. Back home, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration's Super Skywalk projects had hit major turbulence after the Office of the Auditor General of Thailand, or the OAG, recommended that the city administration review its highly expensive plan. Komchatlook's headline says, OAG places brakes on Skywalk, reasoning city people do not benefit. Project only favors business operators. After taking a close look, the OAG says the Skywalk is not worth the investment and does not reduce the use of passenger cars. Furthermore, it only benefits vendors and business operators. The mega project cost over 15 billion baht, says the OAG, but the BMA did not carry out a feasibility study and public hearing. Well, The Anti-Global Warming Association must be mighty happy. It had a month ago maintained that the Skywalk project was overpriced because it cost over 300 million baht to construct just 1 kilometer, compared to the SkyTrain route, which cost only 58 million baht for 1 kilometer. How the BMA is going to effectively argue with that logic is anyone's guess. Lastly, the water splashing festival of Songkran and Thai New Year Day is upon us, and just like every year, thousands of city people have started to leave the capital to return their home provinces, causing inevitable traffic congestion on roads leading up country. The jams, of course, are natural, but the problem, as always, is alcohol. See what Thairat's headlines say. 43 provinces set zoning areas for alcohol-free Songkran. Health Ministry strict, says no drinking and no sales. Yes, it's a rather ambitious plan that deserves public support because alcohol, for one, is a major cause of the massive road death toll during Songkran. But this does not mean there's an absolute ban on alcohol. The 43 provinces, including major ones like Chiang Mai, Khon Kaen, and Nakhon Ratchasima, will designate zones in which people can have a whale of a time playing with water, but no drinking or selling of alcohol will be allowed in these zones. Well, the authorities in charge fear if there's a total ban on alcohol sales during the festival, it would affect tourism. There you go. That's all, folks. Bye.